one day after the appearance day of Lord Balaram, together with all of you, will be honoring Lord Balaram in honor of his appearance.
在你们所在的地方，昨天是主 Balarama 的显现日，在这一天之后，我们又相聚在这里，一起来庆祝主 Balarama 的显现日。
Here's a very beautiful painting of Lord Balaram with his blue dhoti, his plow over his shoulder, many ornaments, nice garland, and smiling very sweetly.
这里是主 Balarama 非常美丽的一张图片。主 Balarama 穿着蓝色的兜体，肩上扛着他的梨，然后脖子上戴着精美的花环，浑身珠光宝气，非常的美丽，并且他的笑容是如此的甜美。
In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila chapter 5, there is an extended description of Lord Balaram.
在 Chaitanya Charitamrita 永恒的主 Chaitanya 经里面，阿底利拉第5章里面对主 Balarama 有非常详细的描述和解释。
Balaram loves serving Krishna.
Balaram 非常的喜爱服务 Krishna。
By his very personal expansions and energies, he serves Krishna both in the spiritual and the material world.
主 Balarama 通过他的各种扩展，通过他的能量，既在灵性世界又在物质世界里服务着 Krishna。
By his Sandhini potency, he expands the whole of the spiritual realm, Vrindavan Dham or Vrajadham.
通过他的3D能量，他展示了整个灵性的国度，展示了 Vrindavan Dham, Vrajadham.
All of the paraphernalia that's used by Krishna is expansion of Balaram.
主 Krishna 的所有的随身用具都是 Balarama 的扩展。
Krishna's bed, Krishna's slippers, Krishna's umbrella, all the articles of eating, and all of the utensils used by Krishna are expansions of Balaram.
Krishna 的床 Krishna 的华盖 Krishna 的鞋子，以及 Krishna 食用食物所用的所有的这些器皿和用具，全都是主 Balarama 的扩展。
He serves Krishna in Dasya Rasa also.
Kumarji, could you repeat?
He serves Krishna in Dasya Rasa also.
主 Balarama 也以 Dasya Rasa 这种关系来服务 Krishna。
Dasya means the servant.
Dasya 的意思是仆人。
And Balaram serves in that mood, as well as his friend and dear brother in Sakya Rasa.
Balarama 以仆人的心态服务着 Krishna， 并且以 Sakya Rasa 朋友的关系的心态服务着 Krishna。
There's a very sweet example of Krishna, Balaram serving Krishna as like a parent.
也有非常甜美的描述了 Balarama 像父母一样的服务着 Krishna。
Balaram gives instructions to Krishna. Don't go to that Kaliyagat. It's a very dangerous place. You should only go with me. I will protect you. In this way, he is acting like a parental figure to his younger brother, Krishna.
Balarama 像父母一样的训示告诫 Krishna 说到了，你不要去 Kaliyagata， 那个地方是一个非常危险的地方，所以你应该一直跟我在一起，处在我的保护之下， Balarama 就这样以父母的心态，或者是以兄长的心态服务着 Krishna， 信侍着 Krishna。
That's 4 of the 5 primary rasas.
这是五种主要关系的4种。
Even in conjugal rasa, Balaram expands as the younger sister of Radharani named Ananga Manjari.
主 Balarama 甚至以这个情侣的心态 rasa 服务着 Krishna， 他把自己扩展为 Srimati Radharani 的妹妹 Ananta Manjari 来服务着 Krishna。
During the Vrindavan Yatra that we'll do virtually, we'll see a nice photograph of Ananga Manjari on the altar of Radha Gopinath in Radhakund.
我们在勾勒丹绕拜的这个主题当中，讲课当中，我们可以见到 Ananda Manjari 他在 Radhakund 的一个神庙的神坛上。
So please remember, when we go to Vrindavan, you'll see Ananga Manjari, who is Balaram's expansion.
所以，当我们去文达文绕拜的时候，我们会看到 Balarama 把自己扩展为 Ananga Manjari， 服务着 Krishna。
Balaram was the 7th son of Devaki.
Balarama 是 Devaki 的第7个儿子。
He was in the womb of Devaki when Krishna requested Yogamaya to come.
当 Balarama 还在他母亲的腹中的时候 ，Krishna 呼唤来了 Yogamaya 前来。
He requested Yogamaya to transfer Balaram from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini.
他请求 Yogamaya 将 Balarama 从 Devaki 的腹中转移到Rohini 的腹中。
Maybe you've wondered, how is it that Balaram's appearance day is on the full moon and only 8 days later Krishna appears? How did that happen?
你们可能会纳闷，Balarama 怎么会是在一个满月降临于世的？就在 Balarama 降临于世之后7天 ，Krishna 就降临于世了。
Please consider, if Balaram was transferred from the womb of Devaki and 1 whole year passed before Krishna was born, because Krishna was born 8 days after Balaram's birth, but they're the same age. How is that?
那么在Balarama 被从 Devaki 的腹中转移到 Rohini 的腹中的时候，那已经过去了1年的时间。那么在这个 Krishna 在 Balarama 显现于世之后的8天 ，Krishna 就降临于世了。那这是怎么回事呢？
Listen carefully.
请大家仔细听好。
Jiva Goswami explains that they were only 8 days apart in birth because during their childhood, they grew together, they started crawling together, they started toddling together, everything was at the same age, so they were just 8 days different. How's that possible?
Jiva Goswami，
Yes.
Jiva Goswami 是这样说到了，他们的降临于世的日子之间只差8天的时间，他们几乎是形影不离，他们在同一个年龄阶段的时候，天天在一起爬行，一起玩耍等等，他们总是在一起，所以他们之间就他们的显现日就相差8天的时间。那这到底是怎么回事呢？
I'll give some detail, but the short answer is that Balaram remained in the womb of Rohini for 14 months.
我呢在这里就不说细节了，但是会给大家这样的一个回复。Balarama 一直待在 Rohini 的腹中待了14个月。
This is so that Balaram and Krishna could grow up the same age, 8 days apart.
这就是为什么 Krishna 和 Balaram 他们能够从小同一出就能够在一起长大，他们之间的出生就是显现日只相差8天的时间。
You all know that Vasudeva married Devaki, but Devaki had 12 additional sisters. 13 sisters were married at the same time to Vasudeva.
大家还记得 Vasudeva 他娶了 Devaki， 与此同时 Devaki 还有12个姊妹。在 Devaki 嫁给 Vasudeva 的同时，她的这12位姊妹全都嫁给了 Vasudeva.
Yeah. Vasudeva, not Vasudeva. So Vasudeva's chief queen was Devaki, but next was Rohini, very dear to Vasudeva.
所以 Vasudeva 的主要的皇后是 Devaki， 然后紧接着就是 Rohini。
After the 6th son of Devaki was killed by Kamsa,
在 Devaki 的头6个儿子被 Kamsa 杀死之后，
Rohini also became pregnant.
那个时候 Rohini 也怀孕在身。
When she was 3 months pregnant, Vasudeva sent Rohini to go to the care of Nanda Maharaj for protection.
当 Rohini 怀孕3个月的时候 ，Vasudeva 将 Rohini 派到了 Nanda Maharaj 的住所，请求 Nanda Maharaj 保护她。
While Rohini was living in Vrindavan,
就在 Rohini 住在 Vrindavan 的时候，
the 7th son of Devaki was conceived.
那个时候 Devaki 怀上了第7个孩子。
And it was during that pregnancy that Krishna called Yogamaya, as you see on the screen.
就是她怀了那第7个孩子的时候 ，Krishna 召唤来了 Yogamaya， 就像我们在这个图片里看到的 Yogamaya 的图片。
Yogamaya transferred that 7th child, Balaram, into the womb of Rohini.
Yogamaya 将 Devaki 腹中的第7个孩子转移到了 Rohini 的腹中。
At that time, Rohini was already pregnant, and by this time, she was pregnant 7 months.
那个时候 Rohini 她已经她已经有身孕了。那个时候 Rohini 她怀的孩子已经有7个月大。
So the child that was the son of Devaki was transferred to the womb of Rohini.
但是就在那个时候 Devaki 的第7个儿子被转移到了 Rohini 的腹中。
Rohini remained with Balaram in her womb for 14 months, just so that Balaram and Krishna's birth could take place at almost the same time.
Rohini 她怀着 Balarama 在腹中一直让 Balarama 在她的腹中待了14个月，然后Balarama 才降临于世。如此 Balarama 和 Krishna 的显现日几乎是挨着很近，只相差8天，几乎是同时刻，只相差8天的时间。
And on the full moon night of the month of Shravan that just passed, Balaram made his appearance.
就在我刚刚过去的 Shravan 月，就在这个Shravan 的满月 ，Balaram 显现于世。
And Krishna appeared on the 8th day of the month of Shravan.
而 Krishna 在 Shravan 月的第8天降临于世。
And that month is known as the month of Bhadra.
而这个月份被称为 Bhadra。
So today marks the first day of the month of Bhadra. It's after the Purnima.
今天是 Bhadra 的第一天，也就是是 Purnima。
And on the Purnima of the month of Bhadra is a very special day in the Vedic calendar as well as in China.
在 Bhadra 这个月份是非常吉祥的，在伟达的典籍当中 ，Bhadra 的月份是非常吉祥的，在中国的日历当中也是如此。
The full moon coming in 28 days in China is known as the Moon Festival.
那么在这个月份的28号那一天，在中国是中国的中秋节。
And in the Bhagavatam, it's a celebrated day for going back to Godhead by giving persons a gift of Srimad Bhagavatam on that full moon day.
而就在这个满月，如果一个人他很有幸的去派发圣典钵伽瓦坛，那么他就能够有幸回归守神。
Here's a description of the position of Balaram described in Krishna book.
在 Krishna 快乐的源泉这本典籍当中，对 Balarama 有这样非常美好的描述。
Read.
Yes, Krishna 快乐的源泉第2章说，若未充分得到 Balarama 的恩典，便无法真达觉悟自我的最高层面。Bala 并不意味着身体力量，一个人必须拥有被 Balarama 或 Sankarshan 灌注的灵性力量。
To be successful in spiritual life, we need spiritual strength.
我们要想在灵修当中获得成功圆满，那么我们就需要具备灵性的力量。
Spiritual strength is given by Balaram.
而这灵性的力量是由 Balarama 来赐予的。
So half of our Maha Mantra is requesting Balaram for his mercy in the form of spiritual strength.
我们念诵的 Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 当中有后半个 mantra 就是去呼唤祈求 Balarama 的仁慈，祈求他以灵性的力量来赐福于我们。
Another name of Balarama is Sankarshana.
Balarama 的一个名字是 Sankarsana，
And he's the source of all spiritual power or the original spiritual master.
他是一切灵性力量的来源，他也是原初的灵性导师。
When Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita,
当 Krishna 讲述钵伽梵歌的时候，
he's taking the role of spiritual master of Arjuna.
他是扮演着 Arjuna 的灵性导师的角色。
In this way, it's Balaram's spiritual strength in the form of the spiritual instructions of Bhagavad Gita that we are benefiting from.
那么Balarama 就这样以这种灵性的教导来呈现他的灵性的力量，因此我们从圣典钵伽梵歌当中获得这样的祝福和仁慈。
Anyone who repeats the message of Bhagavad Gita is representing the original spiritual master Balaram.
一个人重复钵伽梵歌的教导，那么他便是原始的灵性导师 Balarama 的代表。
This is very clearly explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
关于这一点，在 Chaitanya Charitamrita 永恒的主 Chaitanya 经当中有详细的描述。
In this nice painting, we see Balaram not only carrying a plow, but carrying an instrument that's used for harnessing the oxen for plowing the field.
我们在这里可以看到，巴拉拉玛他不仅手持着犁，而且他手里还拿着一个耕牛留耕的一个工具。
From Bhagavad Gita, we know that there are 3 primary occupations of a Vaishya.
我们从薄伽梵歌了解他，Vaishya 他们有主要的3个职业，3个从事。
In most of the incarnations of the Supreme, he appears in a Brahmana or a Kshatriya family, unique for Krishna and Balaram as they appear in a Vaishya family.
那么在主 Krishna 所有的这些化身，他降临于世的时候，他主要的是Gurmaharaj, could you repeat this part because
Which part do you want me to repeat? The whole thing?
Yeah, the whole thing is better. Whole thing.
When the personality of Godhead appears in this world, he appears commonly in the family of a Kshatriya or a Brahmana.
Yes. 当至尊歌手神降临于世的时候，他通常是降临在 Brahmana 或 Kshatriya 的家庭当中，婆罗门或者是刹帝利的家庭当中。
The only case where a form of the Lord appears in a Vaishya family is Krishna and Balaram.
那么主降临在 Vaishya 的家庭当中的唯一的一个典范，那就是 Krishna 和 Balarama 降临在 Vaishya 的家庭。
Krishna holds a flute.
Krishna 他拿着笛子。
One of the main functions of the flute is to call the cows.
那笛子的主要的一个功能呢，就是去呼唤那些乳牛。
And that's one of the 3 occupations of Vaishyas. Go Raksha, cow protection.
所以这就是 Vaishya 的3个主要职业当中的一个照顾乳牛。
Go Raksha, cow protection.
保护乳牛 Go Raksha.
Raksha means protection.
Yeah, Go Raksha 就是保护乳牛。
And what Balaram is holding is agriculture. Krishi means agriculture.
那 Balarama 他所持的这个工具呢，跟耕地有关的 Kishi 农耕有关。
So he carries a plow and also the tool for harnessing the oxen for plowing the field.
所以 Balarama 他手里拿着犁具，并且还拿着这个公牛耕地的工具。
And the 3rd occupation is trade and commerce.
而第3个 Vaishya 的第3个职业呢，那就是做生意。
We find many pastimes where the gopis are bargaining for the price of their milk or the price of their jewels when they're talking with Krishna with the pearl pastime. You'll find out about that later.
我们在后面的讲课当中会了解到，那些 gopi 们，他们带着这些奶制品，或者是他们就像是在珍珠的这个逍遥时光里面所讲述到的，那些牧牛姑娘们经常跟 Krishna 进行讨价还价，关于这个奶制品还有这个珠宝等之类的物品。
The implements in the hand of Krishna and Balaram are the implements of cowherd men, cowherd boys.
所以 Krishna 和 Balarama 他们实际从事的就是这些牧牛郎、牧牛童他们所从事的活动。
Now we're going to hear a very nice song by Jayadev Goswami.
我们现在来聆听一段非常美妙的歌唱，这是由 Jayadeva Goswami 撰著的。
In our Aarti ceremony, we always sing the Shringa prayers at the end.
在我们的 Aarti， 我们早 Aarti 的时候，我们会在唱 Nishingadev 的祷文。
That Nishringa prayer was written by Jayadevis, and it's one of 10 prayers representing prayers to the Leela avatars of the Lord.
这首 Nishingadev 的祷文在 Jayadeva Goswami 撰著的荣耀主的10个化身的 Leela Avatar 这个逍遥化身当中10个逍遥化身当中的一段。
One of the 10 songs similar to our Nishringa prayer is a song for Balaram.
在这10段荣耀Nishingadev 的祷文当中的一段当中，也有献给 Balarama 的一首祷文。
And here is that song. Listen, you can read along with the words.
这里就是这首歌的旋律，你们会听到这首歌的旋律，也可以看到这首歌的歌词。Excuse me, Gumaraj, the sound volume is low.
Translation.
Oh yeah. 开始吧，宇宙之主啊，主哈利呀，您以持礼者巴拉拉姆的形象显现，一切荣耀归于您。您洁白明亮的身体，穿着色如清晰蓝色雨云的衣裳，这些服饰的颜色就像色泽深沉、美丽无比的雅穆纳河。雅穆纳河因受到您离去的击打而深感害怕。
One of the names of Balaram is Haladhara.
Balaram 的一个名字是 Haladhara。
Dhara means the holder, and Hala means plow.
Dara 的意思是拿着或者是举着，而 Hala 的意思是犁。
Just like a name of Krishna is Giri Dhari, the holder of the hill.
就像是 Krishna 有一个名字叫 Giridhari， 他是举起山的人。
So Balaram is the holder of the plow, Haladhara.
所以 Balarama 得名为 Haladhara 持礼者。
Mentioned in this song is also a pastime with Krishna, with Balaram's plow of striking fear in the river Jamuna.
在这首歌里面也描述了 Balarama 用他的犁来击碎了 Yamuna 河。
From Dwaraka, Balaram went to visit Vrindavan.
从 Balarama 从 Dwarka 去拜访 Vrindavan。
He went to pacify the hearts of the residents of Vrindavan after long separation.
他们Balarama 他想要在就是长时间的分离之后，去安慰 Vrindavan 的居民们。
With a different set of gopis than Krishna's rasa dance gopis, Balaram performed rasa dance.
那么就是 Balarama 他和不同群组的 Gopi 们做了这个 rasa dance 之舞。
The demigods were observing this rasa dance of Balaram.
天上的半神人们，他们观看了巴拉拉玛的 Rasa 之舞。
Varuna decided to provide Balaram with a special beverage called Varuni, a kind of honey.
Varuna 他准备去献给巴拉拉玛一种特别的饮料，这种饮料被称为 Varuni 蜜。
Balaram drank so much of this Varuni beverage that his eyes were rolling as if intoxicated.
巴拉拉玛喝了许多 Varuni 蜜，乃至他喝的眼睛打转，似乎醉醺醺的。
He then wanted to bathe in River Jamuna.
然后他去 Jamuna 河沐浴。
So he called the river Jamuna personified to come, but she didn't come. She saw this wild man. She didn't come.
然后巴拉拉玛他呼唤 Jamuna 的人格化身前来，但是 Jamuna 的人格化身并没有前来。
So Balaram took his plow and started dragging the river Jamuna to where he wanted her to come.
然后巴拉拉玛拿起他的犁，拽着 Jamuna 河去到巴拉拉玛想要 Jamuna 河去的地方。
And Jamuna personified came from the river with folded palms and offered prayers to Balaram.
然后 Jamuna 河的人格化身从 Jamuna 河中走了出来，双手合十的向巴拉拉玛进献祷文。
Balaram's plow is very powerful. Besides plowing the field, it does many things.
巴拉拉玛的犁除了能够引发这种害怕之情之外，巴拉拉玛的犁是如此的强劲有力，做了许许多多的令人惊讶的事。
Here's a painting of Balaram using his plow to drag the whole capital of Hastinapur into the river Ganges.
我们在这张图片上可以看到，巴拉拉玛他操起他的犁，拽着整个 Hastina 城堡，把它拖向恒河，把 Hastinapura 城堡拖向恒河。
Here's the story.
这个故事是这样子的。
Krishna and Balaram were residing in Dwarka.
那个时候 ，Krishna 和 Balarama 住在 Dwarka。
Krishna had many queens, and the queens each had sons.
Krishna 他娶了很多的皇后，他以每个皇后生了很多的孩子。
One of those sons was named Samba.
其中的一个儿子的名字叫 Samba。
Samba heard about the marriage ceremony of Lakshmana, the daughter of Duryodhana.
Samba 那个时候听到了 Duryodhana 的女儿 Lakshmana 的这个征婚的这种仪式。
So Samba went to Hastinapur to try to win the hand of this girl, Lakshmana.
于是 Samba 听到了一个消息之后，他就去到 Hastinapura 去想要迎娶这个美丽的女孩 Lakshmana 的手。
And right in the middle of the ceremony, Samba kidnapped her and rode away in his chariot.
Samba 在巨大的集会当中，当着众人的面，将 Lakshmana 抢走了啊，放在他的战车上。
And Duryodhana and his soldiers, they caught him and put him in jail.
Duryodhana 带着他的军队，带着他的同伙，抓住了 Samba， 把他投到了监狱里。
Back in Dwaraka, when Ugrasena found out that Samba was in prison, he was furious.
我们再回到 Dwarka， 当乌格塞纳国王听到 Samba 被关在了监狱里，他震怒不已。
He ordered the entire Yadu army go marching to Hastinapur and smash Duryodhana and everybody inside. He was angry.
乌格塞纳他怒发冲冠，他集结了亚度王朝的所有的军队，要让这个亚度王朝的所有的军队立刻去攻打 Hastinapura。 那个时候 Duryodhana 他们惶惶不安。
Balaram liked the role of being a peacemaker.
Balarama 特别喜欢扮演和平使者的身份，
So he requested the king, before you send the armies, let me go with some ministers and try to make peace.
Balarama 走到 Ugrasena 国王的面前，请求 Ugrasena 国王说，在你去发兵攻打之前，请让我带着一些大臣，首先去到那里跟他们和解。
Balaram traveled all the way from Dwarka to Hastinapur with some ministers and made camp outside the city.
Balarama 带着这些大臣们一路去到了 Hastinapura 城堡的郊外，在郊外搭起了帐篷。
A minister, no, a messenger went inside the city to inform Duryodhana that Balaram has arrived.
那个时候 Balarama 这一方的使者去到 Duryodhana 一方，告诉 Duryodhana Balarama 已经前来。
Duryodhana looked up to Balaram already, and so he was really happy.
Duryodhana 非常敬仰主 Balarama， 他听到这个消息之后特别的高兴。
So he sent some ministers from Hastinapur. What has brought you here to Hastinapur? How can the king serve you?
于是 Duryodhana 他派遣使者从 Hastinapura 去到郊外去迎接 Balarama， 把他引到城内，想要询问他我如何为你效劳。
Balaram said, I've come to get Samba released from prison. I've come to have Samba marry Duryodhana's daughter and to take his daughter with him back to Dwarka. That's why I have come.
Balarama 回答道：“我之所以前来，就是想让你们释放了桑巴，并且让桑巴迎娶你的女儿 Lakshmana， 并且请 Lakshmana 随同桑巴返回到杜阿卡城堡。这就是我前来的使命。”
Duryodhana, hearing that, became really angry.
Duryodhana 听了以后特别的恼怒。
And when Balaram heard the answer was no, he took his plow and said, all right, I'll take the entire city of Dwarka, the entire city of Hastinapur, and drag it with my plow into the Ganges River.
当 Balarama 从 Duryodhana 的口中听到拒绝不的时候， Balarama 说道：“我会用我的犁把整个 Hastinapura 城堡拖向恒河。”
Balaram has all strength.
Balarama 具有所有的力量。
And when he uses his plow, it also has all strength.
当 Balarama 使用他的犁的时候，这个犁也有一切的力量。
Duryodhana realized he made a big mistake.
Duryodhana 立刻恍然醒悟，认识到了自己犯了个大错。
He was not only going to lose Samba and his daughter, he was going to lose his whole city.
他不仅会失去桑巴，他的女儿 Lakshmana， 他甚至会失去整个 Hastinapura 城堡。
So he sent messengers with riches and gifts and said, big mistake, and please forgive me, and let the marriage go on. And Balaram went back peacefully.
于是 Duryodhana 他派这个信使，带着大量的金银财宝和讯息，祈求 Balarama 的原谅。告诉主 Balarama， 我犯了一个大错，就让这个婚姻进行吧。
As you can see, Balaram has all strength, and his plow is a very powerful weapon.
就这样，主 Balarama 才平息了他的怒火。所以我们在这里可以看到，就像 Balarama 拥有一切力量，他所使用的梨也拥有一切的力量。
This is a photograph of Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan.
这张图片是 Krishna 是在 Vrindavan Krishna Balarama 的神像的图片。
One day, Prabhupada asked Giriraj Maharaj, who is stronger, Krishna or Balaram?
有一天，施罗帕帕德问 Giriraj Swami 说到了 Krishna 和 Balaram 哪一位更有力量呢？
And Giriraj Swami said, Krishna is stronger than Balaram.
Giriraj Swami 回答说 Krishna 比 Balarama 更有力量，更强大。
Prabhupada asked, why do you say that?
帕帕就问他，你为什么这么说呢？
Because and the answer was, we see Balaram is leaning on Krishna's shoulder, which indicates that Krishna is stronger.
他的回答是这样子的，我们可以从这两尊神像上可以看到，主 Balarama 是靠在 Krishna 的肩臂上的，所以这一点就说明了 Krishna 比 Balarama 更为强大，更有力量。
So, Prabhupada was very pleased with his answer.
是的，帕帕听了这个答案，非常的高兴。
You're right. Krishna is strong.
你是对的 ，Krishna 更有力量。
Because Balaram is Krishna's expansion, and Krishna is the source of everything.
因为 Balaram 是 Krishna 的扩展，而 Krishna 是一切的源泉。
When they were growing up, they were inseparable, the best of friends.
但随着他们慢慢成长，他们每天都形影不离，他们是最好的朋友。
And the cowherd boys got the opportunity to be in intimate association with Krishna and Balaram.
而这些牧牛童们，他们千方百计地抓住机会，获得 Krishna 和 Balarama 亲密的联谊。
And the cows also got all that wonderful association.
而这些乳牛，他们也获得了如此美妙的联谊。
Here's a painting showing the origin of Krishna's appearance.
这个图片告诉了我们 Krishna 的非常原始的这种图片显现的图片。
On the left, we see Lord Vishnu with the goddess of fortune Lakshmi by his feet.
我们在这张图片的左边可以看到，主 Vishnu 他露着他的莲花足，而 Lakshmi 双手合十，坐在他的莲花足下。
There's Garuda in the lower left corner.
在这张图片的左下角是 Garuda。
And there's Lord Anantashesh, who's the resting place of Lord Vishnu.
在这张图片上，我们还可以看到主 Vishnu 的栖息所，也就是 Anantasheta 蛇床。
And on the right, there's Lord Brahma offering prayers at the shore of the Milk Ocean.
就在右边是 Brahma， 他在这个牛奶之洋的岸边向主 Vishnu 进献祷文。
And the far right is various demigods along with Mother Earth in the form of a cow.
而在最右边，我们可以看到全体的半神人们，他们在地球女神以乳牛的形象而显现的地球女神的带领下聚集在一起，也去到了牛奶之洋岸边。
They're appealing to Lord Vishnu to appear on earth to relieve the earth of the burden of demoniac kings.
他们所有人请求主 Vishnu 显现于世，去铲除地球上的这些恶魔般的君王，减轻地球的重负。
Vishnu agreed.
Vishnu 同意了。
He appeared as Krishna and his extension Balaram.
Vishnu 显现为 Krishna， 还有他的扩展 Balarama。
Here's a very nice painting of Krishna's appearance.
这是 Krishna 显现的时候的一张美丽的图片。
Now he is in Vrindavan, as the son of Nanda and Yashoda,
Krishna 降临在 Vrindavan， 他显现为 Nanda 和 Yashoda 的儿子。
and next week we'll be observing the appearance day of Krishna.
下个礼拜我们就会庆祝 Krishna 的显现日。
And the day after that is when Nanda performed the very festival that you see here, which is the same day as Prabhupada's appearance.
就我们在这个图片上可以看到 Nanda Maharaj 非常的隆重的庆祝了 Krishna 的显现日。在 Krishna 的显现日的第二天是 Srila Prabhupada 的显现日。
And during the bathing ceremony of Krishna, over on the right side there you see Balaram and
我
Krishna
们
touching each other's eye.
我们在这张图片这张右边这张幻灯片的右边可以看到 Krishna 在那里给人们在给 Krishna 做这个 Krishna 的沐浴仪式，在为他的诞生进行隆重的庆典。而在右边我们可以看到 Balarama 也在场。
Commonly in temples where it's Krishna Janmashtami, they do this bathing using conch shells, but it's celebrating the same bathing of Krishna's appearance like you see in this painting.
所以同样通常情况下，我们在神庙的时候，每个 Krishna 的神庙里面，在 Krishna 的显现日的时候，都会给神像做沐浴仪式。就像我们在这张图片上，当 Krishna 降临于世，为他做诞辰的庆典的时候，本达文的居民给他做沐浴仪式一样。
They grew up together as dear brothers.
Krishna 和 Balarama 作为非常亲热的兄弟俩一起长大。
This is the painting after Krishna was rescued from the body of Putana after Putana was killed.
这张图片呢，是 Krishna 在杀死了 Putana， 拯救了 Putana 之后，人们Vrindavan的居民给他做沐浴仪式的场景。
Look what Mother Jasoda is doing. She's holding Krishna up with her feet, a big basin for water.
我们在这张图片上可以看到 Yashoda 妈妈，她用她的足抬着小 Krishna， 与此同时在给他做沐浴。
One of the ladies is pouring water to bathe Krishna, to sanctify him.
一位女士为 Krishna 来浇灌这个水，沐浴的水，为 Krishna 做神圣的沐浴。
Another lady is waving a yak-tail fan or chamara for auspiciousness.
另外一位女士呢，她手里拿着 chamara， 拿着这个拂尘，为 Krishna 做这个服务。
And Mother Jasoda is chanting various mantras for protection of Krishna.
Yashoda 妈妈与此同时，她在念诵着各种各样的 mantra 来保护 Krishna。
And over there on the left, there's Balaram.
而在最左边，我们可以看到 Balarama，
And he's enjoying to see how Krishna is enjoying.
Balarama 看见 Krishna 如此的快乐， Balarama 也非常的高兴。
When Krishna and Balaram were just 40 days old, the name-giving ceremony was performed.
当 Krishna 和 Balarama 才8岁大的时候，他就给他们俩做了这个起名仪式。
The killing of Putana took place even before this. The killing of Putana took place 3 days after Krishna was born. This event is 40 days after Krishna is born.
40 days, sorry.
40.
Yeah. 刚才我翻译错了哈，更正一下。在给 Krishna 和 Balaram 80天大的时候，给他们俩举行了这个起名仪式。在给他们做起名仪式之前 ，Krishna 就已经杀死了 Putana。
We see Gargamuni there wearing saffron cloth.
我们在这张图片上可以看到 Gargamuni 穿着橘色的衣袍。
Gargamuni is the chief astrologer of the Yadu dynasty.
Gargamuni 是亚度王朝的主要的占星师。
he was requested by Vasudev to go to Vrindavan and perform name-giving ceremony for his son, Krishna.
在 Vasudeva 的请求下 ，Vasudeva 请求 Gargamuni 去到 Vrindavan 为他的儿子 Krishna 做起名仪式。
But Gargamuni was very intelligent.
Gargamuni 是非常有智慧的。
He knew that Kamsa might suspect something if he did a big public ceremony for name giving.
如果 Gargamuni 想，如果他举行非常公开盛大的为 Krishna 举行这个起名仪式，那肯定会引起 Kamsa 的怀疑。
So he did the name giving ceremony in a private place in a goshal. You see the cows in the background.
我们在这里可以看到，这张图片的背景有乳牛，于是 Gargamuni 他就在一个非常私人的一个空间里，在牛舍里为 Krishna 举行了起名仪式。
Wearing the crown in the front, that's Nanda Maharaj.
我们在这张图片里可以看到，最前面的头戴着皇冠的是 Nanda Maharaj。
And the two ladies in the background, that's Rohini and Yashoda.
而后面有两位女士，那是 Rohini 和 Yashoda。
So let's hear the names that Gargamuni gave to these two boys.
我们来聆听一下 Gargamuni 给这兄弟俩起的名。
First, he glorified them, then he gave them names.
首先 Gargamuni 荣耀了兄弟俩，然后分别给他们起名。
Here's what he said about Balarama.
Gargamuni 是这样讲述 Balarama 的。
Read.
Yes， 这孩子 Rohini 之子将以他超然的品质为他的亲朋好友带来一切快乐，因此他将以 Rama 著称。
As we know, the meaning of Rama means pleasure.
我们都知道 Rama 的意思是喜乐、快乐。
Because this child has transcendental qualities, he'll give happiness to everyone.
因为这个孩子具有超然的品质，他会给每一个人带来快乐。
So the first name given was Rama.
所以 Gargamuni 给他起的第一个名字就是 Rama。
He gave two other names.
接着他又给他起了另外两个名字。
Please read.
Yes， 他将展示出超凡的躯体力量，故而将以巴拉闻名于世。
We already heard Balarama was very strong.
我们都已经听说了 Balarama 是非常强大有力的。
And that strength, spiritual strength, extraordinary spiritual strength is Bala.
而这个非凡的灵性的力量被称为巴拉。
So we pray to Balaram for strength.
所以我们向 Balarama 祈求获得这种力量。
Here's the third name.
这是给他起的第三个名字，因为他把两个家族 Vasudeva 的家族和 Nanda Maharaj 的家族系在一起，所以他将以 Sankarsana 著称。
There was no indication given by Gargamuni that the son of Rohini was actually also the son of Vasudeva.
我们在这里可以看到，并没有给出这种明显的说明 Gargamuni 在说明这个 Balarama 也是 Vasudeva 的儿子，在这里并没有明显的说明。
The husband of Rohini is Vasudeva.
Rohini 的丈夫是 Vasudeva，
but the child was the son of Devaki, transferred to the womb of Rohini.
但是这个孩子是 Devaki 的孩子 ，Devaki 的这个孩子被他从他的腹中转移到了 Rohini 的腹中。
But during his childhood is being raised by Nanda Maharaj, and so he's uniting these two families.
但他的童年是在 Nanda Maharaj 的抚养之下长大的， 所以他将这两个家族紧密的系在一起。
So in family relation, he's known as Sankarshan.
在这种家庭的关系当中，他以 Sankarshan 著称。
And these two, Krishna and Balaram, as you see, intimately associated in childhood.
我们在这张图片上可以看到 Balarama 和 Krishna 他们打小就是非常亲密的朋友，总是形影不离。
They had total affection for one another.
他们彼此完全的深深的热爱着。
And this was true throughout their life at different stages and ages.
在这里，这个图片也说明了他们在不同的年龄段都是如此的手足情深。
They would sit and eat together just like they were one person.
他们两个人坐在一起，互相给彼此喂食，就好像如同一个人一样。
Now imagine the Supreme Lord is looking intensely into the eyes of the Supreme Lord and each sharing a milk sweet.
我们在这张图片上可以看到，至尊人格守神至尊主深情地看着至尊主，他们四目相视，饱含着深厚的情感。
This is the childhood love between Krishna and Balaram.
这就是 Krishna 和 Balarama 他们的童年逍遥。
They also gave pleasure to the ladies.
他们也给文达文的女士们带来极大的快乐。
You know how mothers are when they first see their children start to crawl, how happy they are.
你们大家都知道，当母亲看到自己的孩子开始在地上爬的时候，当母亲呢是多么的高兴。
So these two transcendental mothers are enjoying the play of their transcendental children.
所以这两位超然的母亲，他们在那里享乐着这两个超然的孩子所带来的巨大的喜乐。他们玩耍，从他们的玩耍当中所获得的巨大的喜乐。
To fulfill their pleasure, sometimes they would expand themselves, and the mothers wouldn't even realize that.
为了增加这两位超然母亲的喜乐，这两个孩子甚至有的时候扩展自己，而母亲也没有意识到。
The same is true for the cowherd men.
同样的事情也发生在牧牛郎身上。
As the cowherd men were going about their business,
这些牧牛郎他们去做生意，
just by seeing these two little crawling children moving out, both the personalities of Godhead, one can only imagine the happiness they were feeling in their hearts.
当他们一看到这两个超然的孩童在地上爬行的时候，看到至尊人格守神以这超然的孩童在地上爬行的时候，可想而知他们内心是多么的喜悦。
As the children got a little older,
当孩子稍稍长大之后，
they were very curious and they moved about here and there.
他们非常的好奇，于是他们跑到这里东跑西跑。
Sometimes they would pull on the tail of the calves and the calves would become very startled and start to run.
有的时候他们会拽着这个牛尾巴，然后这个牛呢就有一点慌张着急，于是就拽着他们跑。
And as they would run, Krishna would hold on to their tail and go for a ride, and he would enjoy the ride.
就这样，乳牛就 Krishna 拽着乳牛的尾巴，乳牛就急速的跑着 ，Krishna 享受着这种被拽着的喜乐。
Some of the ladies would laugh. Some of them would be afraid for the safety of Krishna and Balaram, and some just carried on with their daily duties.
有一些女士看着这场景非常的高兴， 有一些女士看到 Krishna 和 Balarama 这样被牛尾巴拽着跑的时候，她们为他们的安全担心，而有的女士看在眼里，她们仍然干着自己的活儿。
There's a very long section in the 10th canto describing these very playful activities of little Krishna and
在
Balaram.
圣典布加瓦坛有相当长的篇幅描述了 Krishna 和 Balarama 孩童的这些非常的调皮玩耍的逍遥时光。
Sometimes they pull upon the earrings and the ornaments of Mother Yashoda. And
有的
will do sometimes.
有的时候，这两个孩子他们会拽着 Yashoda 母亲身上的这些饰品、装饰物。
The mothers that have this happen, they're at the same time annoyed and the same time they're receiving great pleasure.
当妈妈的，他们一边看着这两个小男孩他们顽皮的行为，一边他们从中得到极大的乐趣。
And then came the celebrated pastimes of Krishna stealing butter.
接下来就是 Krishna 上演的非常著名的逍遥时光——偷黄油的逍遥时光。
Balaram was often with him, stealing butter also.
Balarama 经常和 Krishna 在一起来偷黄油。
They would feed the monkeys.
他们把偷来的黄油喂给猴子吃。
Have you ever seen a monkey like the one over there on the right, very calmly holding his hand out, asking for some butter?
你们见过这张图片不？其中有一只猴，在这张图片里有一只猴子伸出他的手找 Krishna 从 Krishna 的手里要东西，要黄油。
It is said that in his previous appearance, Krishna appeared as Lord Ramachandra.
据说是这样的，在上一个年代的时候 ，Krishna 显现为主 Ramachandra，
and he was feeling so indebted to the monkeys who helped him regain Sita. He wanted to give so much butter and dairy products to the monkeys very freely as Krishna and Balaram.
因为当至尊歌手神以主 Ramachandra 显现在上一个年代的时候，主 Ramachandra 对那些猴子帮助他、协助他去找回了Sita。他对此，主 Ramachandra 对这些猴子君感到非常的亏欠于他们。于是，在下一个年代的时候，他以 Krishna Balarama 这样的至尊歌手神以 Krishna 和 Balarama 的形象，向猴子们派发大量的奶制品，以此来回报他们。
On the left side, we see Mother Yashoda with a little thin stick in her hand, ready to admonish Krishna and Balaram.
我们在这个图片的左边看见 Yashoda 妈妈，她手里拿着一根小棍子，准备来惩罚 Krishna 偷黄油。
But you can see from the expression on her face, she was simultaneously enjoying the playful nature of her son.
但是我们可以从图片上 Yashoda 妈妈的脸庞上可以看到 ，Yashoda 妈妈与此同时，她也非常享受着 Krishna 玩耍顽皮的逍遥时光。
Although Krishna would steal the butter in the storerooms where there was no light, because his body was effulgent, he could still see everything.
我们在这个图片上可以看见，虽然 Krishna 和 Balarama 去到非常漆黑的储藏室里去偷黄油，但是他们身上流演出来的耀眼的光灿，照亮了这个房间，所以他们能够偷到黄油。
Here's from the Yasoda Damodar Leela, where she's carrying the stick ready to punish Krishna.
我们在这个图片上可以看到，这是 Damodar Leela 描述的 Damodar Leela， Yashoda 妈妈手里拿着棍子去惩罚偷黄油的小 Krishna。
Here it shows Krishna and Balaram climbing up on the shoulders of other cowherd boys to get the milk hanging from the rafters by ropes.
我们在这张图片上可以看到 Krishna 他骑在一个木牛童的背上，然后去偷黄油，其他的木牛童在旁边。
They were very expert at being butter thieves.
所以他们非常的擅长偷黄油。
Okay. There's Madhu Mangal acting as like a bench for Krishna to climb up on and steal butter.
我们在这张图片上可以看到 Madhu Manga 他扮演的是一个凳子的角色，然后让 Krishna 爬到他的身体上去偷黄油。
And there's the gopis at the doorway catching Krishna in the act of stealing.
那在门口是那些年长的牧牛女们，他们当 Krishna 正在偷黄油的时候，他们在门口把 Krishna 逮了个正着。
So this is a very celebrated pastime in Krishna's childhood.
所以这都是 Krishna 在童年的非常著名的逍遥时光。
And most usually Balarama was by his side.
通常情况下 Balarama 都伴随在 Krishna 的身边。
Sometimes, however, Balaram took the opposite position of Krishna.
有的时候 Balarama 跟 Krishna 作对。
You see Balaram on the right side of the painting.
我们在这张图片上可以看到 Balarama 在右边。
And some other cowherd boys.
他身边还有一些其他的牧牛童们。
And they accused Krishna of eating dirt and told Mother Jasoda.
他们向亚修的妈妈告状，说 Krishna 吃土。
So Mother Jasoda insisted on looking inside Krishna's mouth to see if it eaten dirt.
于是亚修的妈妈她坚持要看 Krishna 的口，是否 Krishna 吃土了。
Instead of seeing the dirt, she saw the whole cosmic manifestation inside Krishna's mouth.
她在 Krishna 的口里并没有看到土，而看到的是整个宇宙的展示。
As you see in the painting, she not only saw the universe, she saw herself looking inside Krishna's mouth, inside Krishna's mouth.
我们在这张图片上可以看到，亚修的妈妈不仅在她的嘴里看到了整个宇宙展示，并且在 Krishna 的嘴里还看到自己在 Krishna 的嘴里看 Krishna 的口。
This is a very celebrated pastime involving Balaram and Mother Jasoda and Krishna.
这段逍遥时光是非常著名的。这段逍遥时光当中，我们可以看到有亚修的妈妈 Krishna 和 Balarama 都一起上演了这段逍遥时光。
In addition to feeding monkeys, of course, Krishna fed the cows.
Krishna 他除了将黄油喂给那些猴子吃外，猴子吃外，我们可以看到这张图片 ，Krishna 和 Balarama 也喂牛。
Here's a nice painting when the boys are a little older.
我们这一张图片可以看到，这两个孩子又长大了一些。
And they're getting ready to go out in the morning to take care of herding the cows or calves.
而且他们一大早正准备出门去放那些小牛犊。
And here we see Mother Yashoda feeding Krishna while Balaram is standing watching.
我们在这张图片上可以看到亚修的妈妈在喂 Krishna 吃东西，而站在一旁的 Balarama 目不转睛地看着这一幕。
So these are just some of the wonderful pastimes of Lord Balaram with Krishna in Vrindavan.
这只是一部分的逍遥时光，来讲述了 Krishna 和讲述了 Balarama 和 Krishna 他们在 Vrindavan 成长的过程当中的部分的逍遥时光。
This is a very beautiful painting, isn't it?
这张图片非常的美，难道不是吗？
We can see the marks of Balaram's feet in the sand.
我们可以看到，在地上印有 Balarama 的足印。
And the lower right, it looks like a little chipmunk standing with his hands folded, offering prayers to Balaram.
我们在这张图片的最右下角可以看到有一小松鼠，它那个拿着鲜花来献给主 Balarama。
And a tree that's laden with fruits making offerings to Balaram.
而身后的这个果树，他们在为 Balarama 献上自己结出的美好的果实。
Now there is just a little summary of some glorification and thoughts about Lord Balaram in honor of his appearance day.
那么在这里呢，我们来概述一下，在主 Balarama 吉祥的显现日的这个美好的时刻，我们来概述一下关于 Balarama 的逍遥时光，关于 Balarama 的一些理念。
I purposely left a little bit of time so that you'll have a chance to ask some questions.
我是故意留下一点时间给你们，来看看你们有什么问题提出。
So we now have about 15, 20 minutes for any discussion.
我们现在有15分钟到20分钟的时间，看看大家有什么问题提出。
Please send your questions into the chat box.
请大家把问题发到聊天室里。 请问大家有什么问题？如果有问题，请发到聊天室里哈。Jamuna Priya Mataji， 您是要提问是吗？或者，如果你可以开麦的话，也可以打开你的麦，说你的问题。Guru Maharaj, Jamuna Priya Mataji asked a question. 顶拜 Guru， 年长奉献者说 Krishna 知觉也是一门哭的艺术，我们需要哭泣着祈求仁慈，有时哭泣，但是 Krishna 没有回应，是否哭得不够真诚呢？ So Jamuna Priya Mataji's question as follows. I offer my obeisance to Guru Maharaj. Sometimes the senior devotees said that Krishna consciousness is also kind of art of crying. So we needed to cry for the mercy from Lord Krishna. Sometimes our crying sometimes Lord Krishna doesn't reciprocate our crying. So that means our crying is not so sincere.
Two things.
2点，
Crying is a very advanced stage of bhakti.
哭泣是这个非常精进的，就是这哭泣是非常精进的 bhakti 的一种阶段。
At our stage, we should be hankering or yearning or be very enthusiastic, even more than yearning, but crying is more intense than yearning and enthusiasm. Crying is a very mature stage of bhakti.
在我们的这个阶段，我们应该是极度的渴望着、渴求着，带着极大的这种热情去呼唤仁慈，而这个哭泣比这种热情、比这种渴求更为强烈，所以哭泣是更为成熟的阶段的 bhakti 的征兆。
My advice is to not imitate advanced devotees when you're not advanced.
我的建议是，当我们还不精进的时候，我们不要去模仿那些精进奉献者。
You can start with yearning or hankering for Krishna's association or being enthusiastic in the process of bhakti to gain Krishna's association. That's appropriate position for us.
我们恰当的说，我们处在我们的恰当的情形应该是这样子的，在我们现有的阶段，我们应该极度的渴望获得 Krishna 的联谊，我们应该是满怀热情的去获得 Krishna 的联谊的仁慈。
My second reply has to do with the statement that Krishna is not reciprocating.
那我对这个问题的回答的第二部分来回答，有的时候哭泣但有的时候哭泣 Krishna 没有回应我们的哭泣。
Something you can know for certain, and that is that Krishna is kind.
毫无疑问，这是 Krishna 的仁慈的一种展示。
When you reach out to Krishna, he's kind.
当我们去接近 Krishna， 去使劲的去接近 Krishna 是非常仁慈的。
How Krishna shows his kindness may not be according to what you understand what his kindness should look like.
Krishna 如何去向我们展示他的仁慈的方式，并不是像我们所想象当中的 Krishna 展示的仁慈的那种方式。
Do not put boundaries around Krishna and try to confine him to match what your expectation of what kindness will look like.
所以我们不要给 Krishna 画一个界限，不要去局限 Krishna， 不要想着 Krishna 以我们期望的那种方式展示他的仁慈。
Whatever level of devotion you are, Krishna recognizes and reciprocates, but it may look like what you think it should look like.
无论我们处在奉爱服务的哪个阶段 ，Krishna 都看在了眼里，他都知道。那么，但是 Krishna 如何回应我们？我们不要期待着 Krishna 以我们想要的方式让 Krishna 来回应。
Next.
Yes. Next question from Jamuna Tira Mataji. 深深的顶拜 Guru Maharaj， 请问 Jamuna 河勾瓦丹山是不是在灵性世界的稳达文 ？Krishna 降临地球稳达文时，一起显现在地球上吗？ I deeply offer my obeisances to Guru Maharaj. My question is that do Jamuna River and Govardhan Hill appear eternally exist in the spiritual world of Vrindavan, in Vrindavan, in the spiritual world, and when Krishna descend onto the earthly planet, so Jamuna River and Govardhan Hill also appeared with him on this earth?
The answer is yes to both questions.
对这两个问题的回答都是是。That's all, Guru Maharaj.
It was just a factual answer, so the answer is yes.
是的，你说的是对的，对这两个问题的回答都是是的。
There are details about the descent of the river Jamuna to this world, and there's details which we heard about the descent of Govardhan into this world when we did our Govardhan parikrama. There's details of how those happen, but they descend into this realm to assist in Krishna's pastimes.
我们在 Govardhan Parikram 在绕拜勾瓦丹山的系列课程里面，也讲到了Jamuna河和勾瓦丹山是如何降临到这个地球上的。那么Jamuna河和勾瓦丹山降临于世，他们是为了协助 Krishna 在这个地球上上演逍遥时光。Yes, Guru Maharaj, next.
Yeah.
Next question from Dinatarini Mataji. Hare Krishna 顶拜 Maharaj 的莲花族，每次听您讲述 Krishna 的逍遥时光，看着您精挑细选的精美的图片，都能感受到心中极大的喜乐，不断拉近与 Krishna 的距离，加深对 Krishna 的爱。非常感谢 Maharaj 精彩的讲课。Dinatarini Mataji just to show her gratitude to you. Hare Krishna Maharaj, I offer my obeisance to your lotus feet. Every time when I heard you narrated Lord Krishna's pastimes, and also noticed those very beautiful pictures or slides, and then I feel a great bliss in my heart, and I feel that by your narration and by the picture, this shorten our distance from Lord Krishna and also deepen our love to Lord Krishna. Thank you very much for your wonderful lecture. The next question from Haladar Prabhu. 顶拜 Guru Maharaj， 很多图片里经常看到 Balarama 总是拿着他的武器神犁，他的神犁主要是用来做什么的呢？和 Krishna 的神轮一样是杀死恶魔的吗？ Hare Krishna. I offer my obeisance to Guru Maharaj. So from your lecture, we also see a lot of beautiful lectures. And in some lectures, we understand that Balarama always carry the plow as his weapon. So my question that what's the purpose of his plow? What he used for?
Since your name is Haladar, it's a natural question for you to ask.
因为你的这个名字所以呢，很自然你就会问起这个问题。
There are two main purposes. One is agriculture, and the other is protection.
巴拉拉姆的神梨有2个目的，一个是耕种，还有一个就是给予保护。
He uses his plow to correct the errant or misdirected people like Duryodhana or like the river Jamuna, but many other demons he directly killed with his plow.
主巴拉拉玛通常用他的神梨来纠正那些被误导的，像独优胆和贾穆纳这些被误导的人物，或者巴拉拉玛他用他的神梨来杀死那些恶徒或者是恶魔。
But he also had a club.
但是巴拉拉玛也有他的神杵。
And he used the club like a weapon.
巴拉拉玛他也用他的神杵作为他的武器，就是大头棒作为他的武器。
We don't hear of pastimes of Balaram using his plow for agriculture, but that's what the plow is for.
但是我们并没有听到主巴拉拉玛用他的神梨来耕种的这样的逍遥时光，但是他的这把梨的其中的一个目的也是用来耕种的。
One more.
Yes, the second question that his plow is also like Krishna's chakra to kill the demon. Actually, you already.
Sometimes, yeah.
是的，有的时候巴拉拉玛也用他的神梨来杀死恶魔，跟 Krishna 的神轮一样来杀死恶魔。有的时候是这样子的。Jamuna Priya Mataji, send her thanks to you for your wonderful answering. And the next question from Prana Kishore Mataji. 顶拜咕噜，请问应该如何理解 Lakshmana 不想嫁给桑巴，但是被强行抢婚，因此库鲁人以不公正的手段逮捕了桑巴，而激起了压度人的愤怒。从这个角度来看，独优丹呢开始时拒绝巴拉拉姆的要求，似乎是可以理解的。请问这个 Lila 给我们的提示是什么呢？I offer my obeisance to Guru Maharaj. So my question is that how to understand that Lakshmana didn't want to marry with Samba, but actually she was kidnapped forcibly by Samba, and this arose. And the Kurus they addressed Samba in an unfair manner. So and this arose the anger of the Yadu dynasty. So from this angle, at the very beginning, Duryodhana refused Balaram's request. It seems that understandable. So my question is that what kind of enlightenment or meaning or teachings we derived from this Lila?
3 corrections from what she said.
你问的这个问题有3处需要予以纠正。
Lakshmana wanted to marry Samba.
Want, yeah.
Yes. She did want to marry Samba.
Did want, yeah. 那么 Lakshmana 是想嫁给 Samba 的。
Second point.
第2个点。
It was noble and honorable when a young girl, her Swayambar, was called for. One young man would come and kidnap her. That was a noble gesture for Kshatriyas, not for worldly people, but for Kshatriyas. It was noble and honorable.
那么对于 就是在那个年代，对于一个年轻的女子，即将待嫁的一个年轻的女子，在她的招夫大会上、征婚大会上，被一个皇室的王子当众抢走、抢婚，把她抢走。实际上，这是一件非常荣耀的事儿，对于这个女孩来说是荣耀的，是对于查屈亚来说，这是一件荣耀的事儿。
When, for example, when Arjuna kidnapped Subhadra, Krishna said, very good, very good. This is very noble. It's very honorable. Well done.
比如，当 Arjuna 抢走了 Subhadra，Krishna 得知之后，他说：“太好了，太好了，这是非常高贵的，这是非常荣耀的一件事儿。”
So your assumption is it was bad, but actually it was good, noble, and honorable.
那么从你问的问题当中，你可能想这样做是不恰当的，但实际上这样做对于查雀来说是非常荣耀的，还是蛮高贵的一件事儿。
And the third point is that Duryodhana became clouded over due to attachment to his daughter, and that did not allow him to understand the power of Balaram, and so Balaram showed his power.
还有第三点，就是因为独优达呢，他太依恋他的女儿了，乃至他忽视了巴拉 ram 的强大的力量，所以在这种情况下，巴拉 ram 向他显示了他的威力，他强大的力量。
These rules of kidnapping a princess do not apply to ordinary people in society, but it's noble and honorable for Kshatriyas.
像这个王子抢走公主，当众抢走公主，这对于一般的社会当中的一般人来说是不能这么做的，但是对于查屈亚阶层的人士来说是可以的，这样做是荣耀的。
After the girl was taken in this way, the young prince would have to show his power by fighting with the other kings and rulers that also wanted the girl's hand.
那么在抢走这个年轻的公主之后，这位抢婚者，这位王子也得向众人，向亚度族的人显示他的力量，跟他们作战。
This was the system. It was a kind of sporting amongst powerful kings.
这实际上是一种制度，这是这种非常有力量的君王他们之间的竞技。
Now I have to go give another class, and so I have to end this discussion quickly.
因为我接下来还有另外一堂课要上，所以呢，我要快速的结束这个讨论了。
So please excuse me. I'm going to leave the Zoom call.
所以请大家原谅我，我现在要离开这个 Zoom 会议了。Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj, for your wonderful lecture and answering. 非常感谢大家的聆听和美好的提问，也非常感谢主持人。那我们今天就为大家服务到这里，希望大家过上非常美好的、充满 Krishna 知觉的一天。Hare Krishna。